We say that it's 90% mental. Well, how often do we actually train the mind?
Don't worry, we're not gonna make you balance on a tree or anything.
That's a whole nother video.
Embed these 5 thought patterns so you can develop the championship level mindset. Number 1, belief and framing your reality.
It all started with a vision, as they often say. It has to come from a vision in your mind before it comes into the physical. I can personally remember a time where I was watching this video. I was watching Vikings. Ivar the boneless. The man can't walk. He literally can't stand up on his feet and fight. However, he is faced with an army in front of him, just screaming with blood on his face, saying, "You cannot kill me, I am Ivar." And these men are frightened. They stop. They don't attack. Just the threat of him saying this, the confidence in his face, the picture that he painted with the blood on his face, that he is not afraid, embedded fear in the opposition. And I remember watching this video, going into the fight, and then having one of the bloodiest fights that I ever had in Muay Thai, cutting my opponent open, a vision that literally transformed itself into reality a few minutes later.
It's the whole law of attraction kind of. If you can believe it, if you can see it, then you can make it more of a reality. And belief, when it comes to fighting, when it comes to accomplishing anything in life pretty much, you need to have this undoubtedly just 100% belief in yourself and your ability to reach your goals. But if you don't know what your goals are and what that vision is, it's gonna be a lot harder to actually reach that. So being super clear with your belief and with the structure of reality is super important.
It sounds cliche, but it's almost a prerequisite to be able to accomplish these goals. If you believe that you can do it, then you can move on to taking those action steps and the goals, but it all starts with that vision. Number 2, make the emotions work for you.
Now, you're gonna feel a whole plethora of emotions. You like that word? Yeah, plethora of emotions all throughout training camps, fights, and all that kind of stuff. And it's really important to accept them for what they are and learn how to use them to your advantage. Because yes, we work on meditation. Yes, we work on ways to limit these doubts, anxieties, and nerves before a fight. But it's really important to learn how to embrace them and accept them for what they are so you can use them to your advantage in the long run.
I like to look at these things, such as frustrations, in a way that forces me to do work, that makes me go back into the gym. So if I am frustrated, I don't defeat myself and feel sorry for myself that these things are happening. If I have an injury, instead I make them work for me. I'm frustrated, I'm not able to work with, let's say, my left hand, it's hurt. So then I just make my right hook that much better, going back into the gym, using the frustration, the anger, the sadness of whatever has happened to drive action versus driving inaction. I think all of us know the person that is extremely talented and has had the comfort of success pretty much steer them in a way of inaction, while others that we know don't have great lives. They come from poverty, they have a lot of anger and frustration at home, and they transfer that energy into something that's positive.
I think another important aspect of being in tune with your emotions is that you're not gonna feel like training every day. You're not gonna feel motivated. And so learning how to trick yourself to stay disciplined, to stay on track, is going to be very important for you to actually train your mind to be at that championship level that we were talking about.
And that brings us into number 3. Let go of everything that just does not serve you. Yes, some things may be true. Your opponent may be more experienced than yourself. But you obsessing over the fact and feeling insecure over that fact isn't something that's going to help you and serve you in the fight. It is only going to limit you. So it's going to make you hesitate.
You have to be absolutely ruthless with these negative emotions and with the energies around you. Because when it comes down to it, if you have this type of negativity and these doubts inside your head at any point, they can really detract you from your goals and affect your performance inside and outside the ring.
I'm running. I feel tired. Does that feeling itself of being tired serve me in any way? No, instead I'm using that time to strengthen my mind, to strengthen my body, and to see that I can persevere through such feelings, overcome adversity, and then when I get into the fight itself, when that feeling arises, I will do that same exact thing rather than falling into that behavior, thinking about how tired I am, and then feeling that much more tired when you think about it.
I've learned a really good mental training method where you feel this tired. You always hit these walls, right? Whether it's running or pad work, whenever you're getting to this point of complete fatigue, tell yourself, I'm only at 20% though. I'm only at 20% effort. I still got a whole 80% left to go. And you start tricking your mind and your body to realize that you're not even tired right now. Number 4, get at least 2 solo training sessions in per week. This way you can be more creative and allow yourself to fail.
I've always loved utilizing this type of training just to allow myself to be in the dark and try out things that some people end up working on new techniques and new tactics, and they're kind of embarrassed to do them in front of people. If you feel like that's you yourself, you don't want to try new things in sparring where you can feel the repercussions of it, those solo training sessions are the times to not only get better, but to train your mind when you're by yourself, to talk that shit when you're going running. I feel like I've built a lot of my confidence creating these visions while I'm training by myself in the gym. I have nothing else to think about. There's no stimulus entering my mind besides my thoughts themselves. It's almost like a filtration system for the thoughts, to be able to filter out the things that don't serve you and the things that do serve you well, and then use them for yourself.
One of the things I love to do first thing in the morning is shadow box for about 10 to 15 minutes all by myself and just flow. Think of what type of footwork is something that I want to try out, or what type of combinations or movement patterns are things that I don't feel comfortable with in sparring or pad work, but I want to mess around with during shadow boxing. And like Paul said, you're going to be training a lot by yourself, so you might as well get used to being more creative and testing yourself and trying out new things when you're doing these solo training sessions.
And the last one, number 5, this one will come with experience and time, but is practicing flipping the switch. If you can do this before going into a training session, perhaps you're just getting off of work, you need to be able to flip the switch into training mode. So I like to do this even between rounds. So if I go up to my training partner, I like to smile, tap their gloves, and make a joke, and then get really serious and flip the switch into the actual training session. And then once it's finished, go right back into that mode where I'm relaxed, where I can focus on my breathing, bringing down my heart rate, and that way also my sparring partners know that it's not personal.
One thing that I really like to do is I have these cues before training sessions that get my mind prepared for training. Whether it's a pre-training journal, a certain song, taking a shower, I have this ritual before training that I do that always helps me flip that switch. So when I go into training, that's where I'm at. I'm 100% present when I'm training. And like Paul said, during training sessions, it's really easy to lose focus and lose sight of what you're doing, to think about what you're going to be eating afterwards or what your friends are doing. And it's really important to have these certain cues or things that you do that reset you. Usually physical cues of some sort, whatever they may be. Maybe do a jumping jack, or maybe you just shadow box 5 minutes by yourself real quick. Whatever it may be, is a really good way to reset and refocus during the context of a training session.
Going back to number 4, we talked about solo training sessions, building this creativity, and I like to implement the entire game of Muay Thai. So not just striking from the outside range, but being able to transfer ranges, go into the clinch, be able to work on my clinch and really strengthen my body, make it a machine within the clinch itself. So if you would be interested in creating a machine yourself, you can check out our guide and different videos within the solo heavy bag training manual that explains how to transfer from these ranges, number of drills that you can do solo by yourself, and that way you have no excuse to being creative and training on your own.